Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Voters who don't know anything. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Right now, there are more than 200 million eligible voters in the USA. Now, I don't want to be arrogant here. I don't want to be supercilious. But I estimate that at least half of those folks, no idea, none, about what's going on in Washington. And their vote counts just as much as my vote or your vote, and we take the time to study the issues. Therefore, presidential candidates know they can get some votes with rhetoric alone. Here's the president on 60 Minutes last night.
What have you accomplished?
Not only saving this country from a Great Depression, not only saving the auto industry, but putting in place a system in which we're going to start lowering health care costs, and you're never going to go bankrupt because you get sick or somebody in your family gets sick.
Now, according to a new CBS News poll, which is usually friendly to the president, 54% of Americans do not believe Mr. Obama deserves to be reelected. Just 41% say he does. But in the same poll, 44% approve of the job the president is doing, 46% disapprove. So you can see the poll numbers don't add up. My conclusion, anything could happen next year, anything, because many voters are confused. The president himself would rather run against Newt Gingrich because then the Democrats can make the election about Newt rather than the economy and the leadership of Barack Obama. If Mitt Romney opposes the president, it's harder to do that, and Romney would pound economics all day long. Last night, the president said this about his competition.
It doesn't really matter who the nominee is going to be. The core philosophy that they're expressing is the same. And the contrast and visions between where I want to take the country and where they say they want to take the country is going to be stark. And the American people are going to have a good choice, and it's going to be a good debate.
That is absolutely true. Americans will face a stark choice next November. President Obama obviously doesn't want to cut government spending very much, despite the fact we have more than $15 trillion in debt. Whoever the Republican nominee will be will have to slash and burn at the federal level. And by the way, if any American thinks taxing the rich is going to bring down debt, clueless is the appropriate word. It is all about core philosophy. Democrats want social justice. They want American power and money to subsidize those who do not have very much, not only here in America, but all around the world. Republicans are big on self-reliance. Therefore, President Obama does have a constituency that will vote for him no matter what, because they want stuff from the feds. And Mr. Obama is banking on that, despite the fact that there isn't any money left in the federal bank. And that's a memo. Now, there are people, and this is what Frum was referring to, who just believe stuff they hear because they want to believe it. We've discussed this.
Yeah,
Obama's a Muslim. All right? Oh, yeah, he's a Muslim. So, and then they want to believe it, they believe it. And Dick Cheney got us into war in Iraq because of Halliburton. He's getting paid off by Halliburton. So no evidence about either of those things, but people will believe it because they want to believe it, and that's that. You're not going to blow them out of there. That's what these guys are referring to, and I'm saying to myself, look, if you don't know that this ideological position is everywhere, in every conservative, liberal, independent, libertarian, then you're crazy. You don't brand a network, any network, because of what people think.
I agree with every word you just said, every word. Let me give you one specific example that speaks to that in a slightly different way. I don't care what any of these polls say about viewers of Fox News. I don't care about the ones that say they're smart. I don't care about the ones who say they're stupid. And I'll give you one example as to why. There was a poll by a university that said Fox News don't know what's going on in the world because this is the word in the poll, because they erroneously believe the economy is getting worse. They erroneously think the economy is getting worse. That's why they fit into the category of stupid viewers. Well, it's true that we're not on the brink of a depression anymore. It's true that the banks aren't about to collapse anymore, but the unemployment rate is higher. The national debt is a lot higher. So is the economy getting better or worse? This tells me about the liberal professor who conducted this poll a lot more than it tells me about the people who are watching Fox News. That's why these polls, you know, Bill, unsolicited advice. If the White House unfairly attacks Fox, go after them. If the New York Times unfairly goes after Fox, go after them. If somebody important in the culture goes after Fox, same thing. If an intellectual who's frustrated because he doesn't have the clout that you have, he's not worth going after.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have this very fascinating segment with you, Bernie. So, you know, we have to.
That's a good point. Now, that's a very good point.
There you go. Bernie Goldberg, everybody. Reality Check on deck.